Hello again. How nice to see you. I'm Linda Rivero, and as you know, I am founder of 55 in Boulder. The mission of 55 in Boulder and my calling is to work with mature women who have been through a deep loss of a loved person, or a deep loss of another sort, loss of a home, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a family member, because loss is loss. And in suffering deep loss, the fact is we all start from the same place, which is which is grief, loss. The result of losses of something that we love, particularly someone that we love, is grief, deep grief. And so I'm beginning my series of videos talking with you about the process of grief. Let's all start at the beginning. So, yesterday we spoke about grief and the different aspects of grief, how grief can come into our lives, and how there isn't anyone alive who isn't affected at some point or another by grieving, by loss. Today, I want to begin discussing with you the stages of grief. These are universal. And while there is certainly overlap and flexibility in these stages, it's good for us to look at these stages and recognize them for what they are. Now, I do want to mention again, I have made a few notes here. So if you do see me glancing down, it is because I don't want to forget anything that I have prepared to and want to share with you. Grief is a very complex emotion, as we know, and it's different for everyone. However, there are commonalities in the experience. A very well known psychiatrist, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler Ross, studied grief deeply and came up with what she considers the 5 stages of grief. And these 5 stages are the following: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally, acceptance. Now, a person doesn't necessarily always experience those stages in that order, but the stages are pretty universal. So let's look at the first 2 that hit us, which are denial and anger. Denial is interesting. When we lose someone that we love, we often consciously or unconsciously deny that that is happening. Why? We're trying to grasp the loss. It's losing someone important. It's a shock. We've just spoke to this person last week, last night, or 20 minutes ago, and all of a sudden they're not there. Our reality in terms of this person and our relationship, our connection to this person has shifted completely. It is acknowledging, absorbing the loss, a permanent loss, the death of someone, and also something that we love and cherish, is very painful. And it's an awful lot of pain to grasp all at once, and denial. Again, whether we're doing it, whether we were aware of it or not, denial helps us slow down the process so we can come to terms with it. I experienced this denial, and at the time I was not aware of it at all, but I recognize it in retrospect. I was with my husband when he took his last breath. I was whispering in his ear because I knew that hearing is the last sense to go. But when he left, I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. And I didn't cry the next day or the next or the next. It took me weeks until I cried. And I loved him very much. Yet today, nearly 10 years later, there are moments when I am spontaneously overwhelmed with longing and tears and connection, which is not to say that I grieve every minute. I don't. But there are moments when it comes back vividly and I feel it. So the tears were not there initially for me. And I doubt that I'm the only one who experienced this kind of detachment at the moment. That's a form of denial. Denial helped me at that time. I knew he was gone. I believed he was gone, but the emotional impact took weeks. Now, what about you? Can you relate to denial of your loss? Can you connect with that? Did you experience any denial yourself? I really, really would like to know. Please feel free and enter your experience. A few words, as much as you would like to say, in the comments below this video. I'm very interested to know. Now let's look at the second of the five stages of grief. The second one being anger. The second one, according to Dr. Kubler-Ross. Again, it may be in your case that anger comes first and denial comes later. Again, these are not rigid. They're general experiences that most of us do go through at one point or another and in one order or another. Dr. Kubler-Ross places anger as the second most common emotional response to loss. Anger, we don't think of anger as a positive thing generally, but anger has its benefits in that situation. No, but anger may not be very socially acceptable, but anger, interesting, it's more acceptable than vulnerability, and is more acceptable than fear. We can express to someone that we're angry, and people will understand that. It is not as easy to express that we're scared, that our world is upside down, that we don't know what will happen to us, or how we will manage, or how we will move forward, or who we will be. We don't want to feel that vulnerable. And others, they don't know what to say or what to do if we share that with them. So it's scary for us and it's uncomfortable for them. And instead, we may exhibit anger or express anger. So anger has its benefits. That said, anger has its downside as well. Anger can leave us feeling isolated because we're all alone in our anger. The people around us can't understand what we're feeling. And then where do we direct our anger? We may direct it at inanimate objects, banging a wall, punching a pillow, punching a punching bag. We may direct it at strangers, yelling at the person in the store for not giving you your change quickly enough. Someone cutting you off in traffic. We may exhibit our anger to other people that we do know, and they experience it as irrational or unfair or just disorienting or unpleasant. And we may also experience and express anger toward the deceased person. How could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? How could you leave me here? How could you do this? Leave me with all these debts. Leave me with these children. Leave me with the mortgage. How could you do that? So anger ultimately makes it hard for others to approach us. They don't know how. They don't know what to say. So therefore, they cannot help us. They may feel intimidated by our anger or threatened by it. And this, in turn, isolates us even more. So, in addition to that, anger has truly negative effects on the body. leading to great stress. And stress, as we know, is the precursor to a whole number of diseases. I'd like to play a short video for you about anger. I'm not sure this will work, but I'm going to try because it's very worthwhile. And I hope that I can do this successfully. I will share my screen. Let's see here.
When someone
Full screen. Let me see. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I'm sorry that this is not as smooth as I would like, but here. This woman is a therapist who works professionally with as a bereavement specialist, counselor, therapist.
love dies, we can sometimes have in us the feeling of anger rise up really powerfully. Maybe we're angry about old hurts. Maybe we're angry about some behaviors or things that happened before they died. Maybe we're angry because they died. That feeling of anger can be so powerful, and it's often one we shy away from. And I find that sometimes it's helpful just to sit with that feeling, that anger, that pain, allow it to be, maybe explore it, maybe um, take a look at where does it come from and what can you do with it? What can it teach you? What can it teach you about your relationship with that person and about yourself as you go forward? And then once you've sat with that feeling of anger, maybe some other feelings will have the space to rise up.
So, words of wisdom regarding anger and its place in our processing grief. So I would like to know, I want very much to know, what is your experience with denial? What is your experience with anger? Have you felt those emotions? Do you still feel them? You know, I invite you, I encourage you to take advantage of a free resource that I do offer you, and I really hope that you will take and enjoy, called The 7 Soothing Secrets to Happiness for the Mature Women in Transition. In order to get your hands on this very easy read and an uplifting read, just private message me the word secrets, and I will send these soothing secrets to you. I know that you'll enjoy them. And also, if you are struggling with moving forward after your loss, I can help you. Again, just send me a message with the words free call. I'll contact you and we'll set up a convenient time for chat, no charge and no obligation to you. My purpose and my interest is in helping you to get back on track for your next happy chapter. I want to support you as you move forward in your life toward a future that is fulfilling and satisfying and that makes you happy. Just send me a private message with the words free call. I'll reach out to you. I will see you again tomorrow when we will discuss the remaining stages of grief. I'll see you then. Thank you. Bye bye.